All right, welcome everybody. We are on. This is the RawNB podcast. This is Mo,
I'm Sean Ruckus.
and we are here with a guest, y'all. We are here with Z-Man. Man made my childhood, our childhood,
Yeah.
took us through our rough times in our childhood to the greatest times in life.
Mm.
The man that wrote your favorite club anthem. Yo, I know you. I'm gonna say it right now. The top 5
Top 5.
club anthem, R&B club anthem of all time. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah.
Club anthem of all time. That Too Close. He gave you the wifey. Gave you the butter love. My goodness, he is a pioneer of creating the lane in that 90s. What do we call it? S?
Well, it's a
We call it
mid-tempo tracks,
It's mid-tempo,
but
but we call it
sex tempo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a sex tempo
the sex
BPM
tempo.
that Cass was riding that joint like a surfer.
So
Right.
Talking about sex in an innocent way.
because we should have been singing that stuff when we were in there, and the ladies were grinding it back. So this is
Throwing
the
it
thing.
back.
They were throwing it back. Oh yeah. So this is the thing about it, man. This man right here is our hero, RL. Everybody.
Yep. Let me add to that.
Mhm.
He's a man of God. He's
You're right.
He's a father, you know?
That's right.
And here's the thing. He's the guy that has the big heart that wants everybody to do good. He's the cat that's like, yo, I'm trying to be everybody's friend. Love me, man. Let's work together. You just can't do better than me. I love
Oh,
you. though.
yeah. That's not, yeah.
That's right.
I want you to. That's right. Yeah. I want you to do well.
And-
I want to do better.
Ain't
He's
nothing
really a
wrong with that.
killer. R&B killer
Thank
with
you.
the grind ethic of a hustler from the streets.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And
R
that's-
dot, capital R dot, L dot.
Exactly.
Clement.
Thank you, brother, for giving us your time. For real.
Oh, no,
Like,
let me I want to start because rarely on social media do people really show love. It's not about that. And to just randomly see a clip where I'm on Mount Rushmore was like, it brightened my year because it's been a tough year for me. And it literally, I want to just say I was so honored. I was like, yo, I don't even like doing interviews, not because I don't want to talk to people. It's because I don't want to be stuck in talking about back in the day and the things that I did, or talking about things that I'm about to do that might not happen or you haven't seen yet. But I really wanted to come on with you guys because I was so honored. Like, you know what? Let me chop it up with them. Let's have a fun discussion and just let the world happen to be able to listen in on it. So I had to. I requested this.
he did.
That's wild.
And
I don't be knowing this stuff, so I
well,
just
no,
kinda...
you didn't know. So what happened was that Saturday when I posted it, that Saturday morning, it was like, I'm like, oh, RL liked it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. He put it on his page. Oh, hold on. I was like, oh man. I was like, I really meant it from the heart. Like I really meant like, dang. And we were and that was like one of our first podcasts where we were actually we shoot on R&B.
I was worried
all
about
the
that
time.
podcast.
That was the one where he was worried about the podcast, and I was like, that's our illest one.
Because
I
I
said,
talk
listen,
crazy.
yeah,
And
you
so I
talk
was like,
crazy, but you
what?
were talking honest.
But
Right.
in the midst of the craziness, I was shocked that you got attention to that Mount Rushmore topic that we were talking about.
When that
you
was the
know?
Mount, because I was like, listen, but it raised conversation on it, on, of course, on social media, because everybody got to talk about something in the comment section.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
so that was the thing. So once RL put it on his comment section, here come the people running their mouths. And I had to make time. I had to make time. Mo got to make
matter of
time.
fact, I think I told you to make me a collaborator.
Yes,
I
you
think
did.
that's what I said. I was like, make me a collaborator so we in this together. And my number one rule for social media is stay out of the comments, because people will say stuff like, why do you comment on the negative but never the positive? No, I'll comment on as much of the positive as I can, but I always give this example. We're going to an all-white party. You got on your white linen fit. Next thing you know, you get an ink spot, the littlest spot right here.
Yeah.
What are you going to be bothered with the whole night?
That damn
You ain't
spot.
lying, that spot.
So when you get in a room full of love, and all of a sudden you got one or two people spewing hate, you tend to focus on that and zero in on that a little bit more than you should, but that's what happens. So it hurt me a little bit, but I understand music is subjective. I will say, Mario, he's been making his rounds. He has a great project out. There's a record called Chosen that I love on his project. Of course, music doesn't get promoted like it should now, so I just happened to run into his project. He's an amazing artist.
Yeah, top 5.
We were label mates when he first came.
I did not know
and
that.
I remember giving his first diamond necklace. I just gave it to him. I don't even know why. And he came to my house. He was in Minnesota for something when I lived in Minnesota. Came by the crib and the chain was missing. And he told me that a fan snatched it. And he was real apologetic. I said, you shouldn't be. That lets you know you made it. The women is going crazy. Somebody snatched it. It'd be different if somebody jacked you, but they were grabbing on you. They wanted a piece of you. And I'm a huge fan. What I'm not a fan of is discussing talent levels of fellow artists. And that's his thing because he's so dope.
Yeah.
But it opens up Pandora's box where people can come in and find ways to say bad things about you, or they're looking for the negative, and it takes away from how dope he is. Somebody had even commented, they were like, and I like all these artists because I understand that it takes so much to even do this.
Yeah.
So I don't care if I like your voice particularly or I don't. I know what it takes to do this, so there's a level of respect I'm gonna have for you. So I'm gonna be quiet if I don't have something nice to say. Somebody was like, well, Mario's all extra. I saw him on the Verses and he was doing all these runs and doing blah, blah, blah. Well, I was taught that you sing a record well enough to be played on the radio and people can sing along, but then live, you murder everybody. You can do every run you want to do. That's why I think a lot of people don't realize vocally what I can do, because besides probably the Brothers, where I was so nervous, and that's a whole nother story. When we did the Best Man record, when we did that, I was so nervous.
I needed to know that.
I had to show my ass. Like I was like, listen. And luckily, Jimmy Jam has done interviews talking about that process and how I was pushing everybody. Like I was the cheerleader for everybody.
I needed to know.
But I literally, besides that, maybe Deborah Cox a little bit with the duet, but I literally have undersang every record because I knew that the audience probably was really more into the melody and the lyrics, and I was a rapper by trade. I had a record deal as a rapper first. So I was like, I want you to hear these lyrics. I want this melody to stand out, this subject matter. So a lot of people probably don't know vocally what I can do unless you come live.
But
now, when you said you get yourself angry before you hit the stage, I understand that because I'm a singer myself too. So when I'm doing the weddings and the private events, if I'm chill for the most part, but if there's another black male singer, which rarely happens in the wedding world, that there are 2 black males, there's always got to be one token black guy, another 2 white female singers, one guitarist that could sing, stuff like that. But whenever you have 2 black males, I'm always the person where it's like, hey, brother, how you doing? The whole time I'm like, how am I going to piece you apart and kill you and put you on a plate and bake you, you know? But that's what's going on in my mind. But it helps me. It helps my ego to be the most confident and dominant performer when I'm out there, you know? And so when you had said that building up anger, one of the things I thought about was, and it's funny you mentioned Mario, when I build up anger now, I go to the Versus battle with Mario because he was a straight villain the whole time. And I was like, and so I have like a joke.
He was a little too cutthroat because he was saying some things that were
fighting words.
Yeah, were some truth around it, but there are limitations for
There's
a
a
lot of
way.
singers.
There's a
right?
way.
And there's a way, and there's certain things you can't say and then go on tour with me. There would be
You
would
can't
be
do
forever
that.
enemy. And I get it. You're
Yeah.
caught in the moment, because I've done things caught in the moment. And again, this isn't about Mario, because Mario's one of the most talented
Mhm.
cats, beautiful soul, great young man.
Yeah.
But I think that it's disappointing because not him. I'll just say in general, I've watched interviews of certain artists and they come off as cocky. And
Yeah.
I'm like, they're really nice. And if they had been a little more thoughtful in their responses,
Yeah.
then not necessarily political but there's a way to say things.
Yeah,
That
that's
same
what
way
I
I did.
said.
I try
That's
to
what.
think of it like I did with my music. Instead
Yeah.
of saying like I don't want to be too vulgar, but you can tell the chick, I want you to suck my, or you can
Yeah.
go, I just want you to taste me. And there's
Mm.
it's saying the
Ooh.
same thing. You're just saying it a little different.
Yeah.
And this
And
is
I think
why.
that is the key,
Great.
and to worry about somebody else's future, because I know that there are artists that I might not necessarily rock with like that, but I know that they're out here trying to feed their family. And if I
Yeah.
say something disparaging about them, it could affect that. And
Yeah.
I don't want to do that, because we
And
can all be out here eating.
And I thought it was like, and I honestly thought, you know, not a lot of people make it to your level and are amazing singers. Anything could happen. Just like ball players and different people that work on their craft all their lives. Things can happen. So
Right.
it's a big but small fraternity
Mhm.
of amazing artists. And I thought it was always gonna be like, regardless of anything, we gonna stick together. Like
Right.
brothers, sisters, we gonna stick together because it's, we're grateful to be here. Because it can always
Yeah,
be worse.
but yeah, most of the beef or most of the issues that come in my industry, to me, are the managers involved. It used to be when you're younger, it's the girls. Younger, it's like, oh, I like her. She mess
Wow.
with you. I mess with her. We beefing.
Yeah.
You knew I liked her. Little kitty stuff. But now when I see business messed up, or situations where you're not on a tour, or you should be on this tour, with this group, it's usually a manager that done came in. Sometimes there's a group members. I've had a guy in a group, um, because I'm cool with another former member, try to stop me from eating before. Where
What?
I wanted to be on something else because that's what I'm from. But it's like, you know what, bruh? What's for me is for me. So I kind of just let it be what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? Because I love everybody. Again,
Mm.
my saying is, I wish you well. I just wish me better.
Yeah.
It's just
No,
what
real
it is.
quick. You had mentioned something about you had to sing things differently. And one of my questions I was thinking
Water
about
it
this is
down. He had to water it down. That's what he
yeah, so
said without
one of my
saying it. He's saying you're nice.
exactly. And so one of my questions is when you reach that level of you're now going into studio sessions and you're creating stuff from scratch, or the
Hmm.
track is already ready for you, or
Uh-huh.
whatever it is. But when you're in those scenarios, when it comes to the part where you're the songwriter trying to pitch a song to a singer,
Hmm.
and you're singing on the song too, have you ever
Hmm.
gotten pushback from you're doing too much on this reference? You need to calm down with these vocals. Like, did you ever have to dumb your vocals down to get a placement for a singer that just cannot do what you do? And it's almost like, how can I sing this track? Kind of thing.
Well, it depends, because there are records like Just In Case and Anything for Jaheim that were really gonna be for me.
Okay.
Just In Case was a slow song. We double timed it to make it an up tempo.
Mhm.
Those were my
Mm,
records. His voice was so different from mine that didn't matter. He wasn't gonna do what I was doing anyway, so that worked.
mm,
But when I'm writing specifically for another artist, I do with what a amazingly dope singer songwriter, troubled, incarcerated guy used to do.
mm,
Is he would become that artist. He would literally be blind for a week if he would cover his eyes if he was writing for Stevie Wonder. He literally become that person. And I learned that from Ronald Isley, because I worked on his wife's and her sister's album, JS. I did half the album back in the day, and I actually wrote
Mm.
a record for them and him, and I had to become him. So you have to study
wow. That's
these
crazy.
cats. Another thing, because if you really are a fan of an artist and you get to work with them, we just did, me and B Flat, my partner, we did Shamia from the Housewives. We did her whole project, but then we did Ann Nesby. We did 8 out of the 10 records for Ann Nesby's album. And I got to become her. She's my group member's godmom, so we used to rehearse in her living room back in the day before we made it. And I've always been a fan of her voice, so I knew her voice. So her son called me like, look, I heard mom's album. It's cool. I need you. And I was like, word? So at first it was going to be one song. And I literally did 8 songs pro bono. Like, because of the respect and love I have and being a fan. I think a lot more writers and producers I've worked with Luther, I've worked with Usher, Jamie Foxx, you know, to Luther's like we say Luther, you know what I mean? To have the opportunity to work with some of these artists that might not have the budget that they used to have, I think that's a blessing. I think a lot of these big producers and songwriters should go back and that be a way of giving back to the artists that laid the foundation. That's how I view it. Do I want to check? Of course, I got kids to feed. Of course I want to check. But I also don't want to look back at my life and go, I had this opportunity to be in this room with this person and the knowledge I could have gotten or the karma is amazing. But going back to your question, I'll have my producer take out ad libs because what I do more than anything in this day and age is arrangement is dumbed down. Like, because the harmonies, I might have these intricate harmonies, these different backgrounds, and I'll tell them, listen, mute whatever you don't need. I'm going to give you enough to work with. That's the hard part. Now, the ad libs,
harmonies.
Sometimes those are mute, but it's the harmonies.
That is
the harmonies
crazy.
is the part that you got to take out because it's unison. A lot of people want unison. So at the arrangement, I will sometimes go, because he's a little younger than me, I'll say, listen, if I did too much, and I still think from 3-part harmony, I'm still addicted to my group. So when I'm recording, I still will go back and revert to what I've done.
Layers.
My whole, you're right. Like, so I'll be like, oh, layers, I could do this. So I'll be like, oh, dang, I ain't writing this for T-Lo. This ain't the first verse. I got to change that. So I'll police myself. And then my production partner, he'll come in sometimes and go, I was thinking that we didn't really need this. Okay, cool. So you have to be humble enough to be coached.
Teachable. To be a teacher.
Yeah. Or a learner. Yeah.
So you're forever learning. That's what I was thinking. So it's always.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah.
Wow. I had a question actually, since you just brought up writing. When was the first time that you can remember going back where you wanted to start writing and just writing in general?
Well, I was a rapper first.
Yeah.
And kids were really cruel to me growing up, so I would go home and write raps about them. They never heard them, but I started putting melodies to it. So I remember it was like listen to the sounds of a whole nother old apple cinnamon Cheerio. I used to be doing that, right? So then, excuse me, during the NBA finals, McDonald's came out with a commercial. So I took what they did and made a whole song. So me and my little group would go and do all these little block parties and stuff. Do you believe in magic? I do. Do you believe in destiny? I do. But that was all from a McDonald's commercial. Do you believe in magic?
Songwriters, producers, singers, are you listening? This is a tip. This is a tip in songwriting, okay?
So I would take melodies. So that was it was called Do You Believe in Magic? That was the very first thing that I started writing as far as like R&B with a melody. Because that's the important part. People don't realize that. Like when people are around me and they're singing, baby, no more crying, and that ain't the lyrics, I can't be mad because they know that melody. As long as that melody is right and we in a room full of 1,000 people, we good. Like that's why people thought I was mad about the why you always lying. And they don't realize is that Smirnoff, I think, just did a campaign in Germany and I had to sign off on it because they wanted to use that. And that's me. The same thing just happened with Saturday Night Live last week. Did a thing with Too Close. People were sending me the video. I have to anything that's I get a message from Sony ATV. I gotta be like, okay, that's cool. Julia
Mm.
Roberts in that movie on Netflix, she actually pulls out our album cover, and
She
her
does.
and
Yes.
yes,
I saw. I
I had
actually saw.
That's wild.
I literally saw that not too long ago. And I was like, wait a minute.
On some
I had to
random.
s-
you're
I
right.
literally had to
And
stop.
they
I
play
was
too
like,
close. And
no.
what's that amazing actor's name? Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
That song too close. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Some Ali, what's his name?
I
Oh my
see.
gosh.
Um,
She pulls out the record and she starts dancing to Too Close in the movie, and I'm just like, wow, like that puts things in perspective. But it's that melody, you know what I mean? And I had to learn that because I didn't like up-tempo R&B at all. We used to make sex tapes. I wanted the slow
See?
mid joints.
I
Back when I
knew it.
came up, the only up-tempo had to have a rapper on it or a hip-hop beat that everybody knew. Nobody from my hood knew Christmas rap Curtis Blow. And that's what Too Close is from. Dun, 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 dun. So I I had to figure it out. And if you listen to all the up-tempo records that we've done, they have mid-tempo and slow tempo or ballad subject matter. Wifey, Too
Yep.
Close, you would think it's I've always said, okay, well, if I'll make it faster, but the subject has to be just in case I don't make whatever you want to do, love, whether it's set to that's really you know what I'm saying? Tonight you're with me. I'm talking VIP. That's you know what I mean? That's
Moving.
really
It's moving.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a flow. And this is why, and again, I DJ. So, and literally almost every morning I'll be up at 4 a.m. I will DJ 4 a.m. to like 7:15, getting people ready. And I'll do a 90s
that's
R&B
dope.
request show. 90s R&B request show. And it's lots of people in there from Australia, America,
Wow.
all over the place, right? And
Well, I blame
you
you.
on there. You're on there.
I blame you.
No,
I blame you.
no.
Why people think that all my records sound alike? Because what happened was a lot of groups would go, "Oh man, this record is crazy. We need one of those." So they would specifically ask for that style of record. So I wasn't able to get as creative as I wanted to on a lot of records because people would come in and go, "I need it too close." So I had to give them what they wanted. So now people are like, "Oh, this sounds kind of like this." So they figure a DJ will be playing a record and they would have to go to something else after or before. So give them a just in case, get them a whatever. So I had to do that. You know what I mean?
They need it. First of all, the songs you just sung, Too Close, Wifey, Idea, Song by Idea you wrote. Just I'm not even going to the Jaheim ones you just did. But we can.
Well,
those
I'm
five,
saying let's go
those
there.
five,
I have the
yeah, we can.
accolade. I want to go there.
We can. Those five, I'm gonna just we can go on more. But those five right there are R&B DJ lifesavers.
Oh man, that means everything, man. Thank you, bro.
Those are lifesavers. Meaning when you don't think you got something in the tank, you're looking around in the crate for it.
Yeah.
And them things because it's
and
sexy time. It's get you ready.
And different audiences though. And any audience.
But no.
It could be with that other ethnic wedding singer, and you're there, and the DJ's there. They can put on one of those records.
Listen, last night, I'm gonna tell y'all. Listen, I was DJing a event, and these are my vanilla Caucasian persuasion brothers and sisters. And where they would try to do this, it was a very strange line dance to try to do it to every song. It was strange. I'm not gonna talk about that. It was strange. I didn't record it. I'm gonna leave it alone. But besides that, I put on Too Close. But I put on Too Close later. Usually I would pull that out a little earlier and get everything started. But for some reason, I said, let me get Too Close out now. And it had to be like later on in the night. And they loved it. They were dope, just vibing. And I'm like, it saves me every time.
It's vibes.
But I wanted to be able to have a Frankie Beverly and Mays type record, a Kool and the Gang, Earth, Wind and Fire. I can't say it's on that level, but for my generation, are some records that make you feel good. That just, you put on and you just smile. You know what I mean? And I think that it's a blessing to have catalog, to have records like that. And I mean, that's why I'm here today. I'll be able to sing them records when I'm 60, hopefully. So
And
yeah.
absolutely. And can I since we're just talking about your writing for a second?
Yeah.
Storm forecast.
Oh,
Jamie
let me
Foxx.
feel the raindrops falling down all over my love. I want it soaking wet all over the bed. That's one of my, you know, that ain't, well, my favorite, people wouldn't even, there's 2 records that are my favorites that I've written, and people probably haven't really heard them like that. That is one because I wrote it just for him, and he was shooting Miami Vice. And I thought he was giving me the runaround because I held that record for like a year. And he called me and they were on location in like the Dominican Republic. He's like, I'll fly you out here right now. He's like, I'm not playing. I'm like, nah, I'll wait to do it. So Duran from 112 actually produced that. Duran gave me a beat CD. And he had no idea I wrote the record. So we had recorded it on Jamie, and I ended up calling Duran like, yo, I need the files. He's like, for what? I was like, oh, because we got a record on Jamie Foxx. He's like, for real? It was literally that simple. And I do want to say this about Jamie. There are cats that are a little famous that will take a week or 2 to call me back or respond. Jamie is a mega star. And when I tell you, if I text him, which I rarely do because he's so busy, but if I text him, I remember when his sister passed, I texted him. He was like, man, thank you so much. Literally like that. He's one of the best dudes. And it's crazy when you get to work with somebody that most of the times you meet your heroes and you're disappointed. And he's somebody that when I was able to write for him, I wanted to go back to his first album because I felt like Jamie is so good at emulating so many people that sometimes you can forget who he is, and he's so dope himself that instead of him going doing records pretending to be somebody else or emulating somebody, I wanted to give him something that reminded me of I can't remember the name of his first project, but it was incredible. So I wanted to do that.
And that's what it reminded
That
me
was
of.
that album where he sang his ass off.
Yes.
And that was like in Living Color phase.
And you remember
right?
that?
Almost
Yeah.
kinda.
Do you remember when we were kids and I was like, this
We
dude,
kept
Jamie
talking about the
Foxx?
first album, and I'm like,
And I had that first album and I kept playing it, and they were like,
I
who's your
think it
favorite
was
singer,
ahead of
Mo?
its time.
And I was like,
R&B
it's
wise.
Jamie Foxx. And they're like, people thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
They didn't know, but they didn't know what was coming.
No, I got one for you though. So I had written for a lot of people, and for years they wouldn't mention that I had written for him, Jaheim included, and we're
Really?
family. But he would not never in interviews would not say anything. I had gotten tickets from Jamie's guy. He had a concert in Atlanta at the Fox Theater. I maybe had just moved here, maybe a year or 2 before, and I'm at the Fox. He's not knowing I'm there. And it was during his Ray Charles era where he had the piano on stage and everything. And he breaks everything down and starts playing and starts singing Storm. And I start singing it loud as hell. And I swear, this is one of the best moments of my career. He literally basically told me to shut up. He was like, yo, can I sing my record? And look, and saw it was me. Broke everything down. I still get goosebumps. And he pointed to me, go, hey, y'all, RL wrote this record for me. My eyes get watery and I get goosebumps because it's rare that somebody will take their platform. That's why I feel so blessed to be on here with y'all, because it is a big deal for somebody to use their platform to pull you up. And he was in Oscar award winning mode, triple threat. And for him to mention me, that was one of the highlights of my career, heck, of my life, besides my kids being born. A highlight of my life for him to acknowledge me in a crowded room of people that came to see him.
Yeah, that is unbelievable because I'm a digger in the crates. Like, so even when I was younger, I didn't want to hear what everybody else heard. I want to dig in there and I want to get the quote unquote B side, but it's not B side to me.
Yeah.
Right. Well, no, when the single, I'm gonna be honest, just be a man
A+.
about it. Just be a man about it, Tony Braxton. Before it became a single, it was my favorite record. Once the world got it, I didn't want it. I'm a hater. Like, I was like,
me too.
Oh, that was my joint. Y'all didn't know about
Me
that.
Too. Yeah, don't know about it. It's the truth.
So there's two records there's 2 records I want you to go. Well, one they messed up in the mix, but it's still one of my favorites. Go listen to Forecast I'm not Forecast. Go listen to Orchestra
Yeah,
by Genuine, and
yeah.
then listen to
Oh
I Could Change
wow.
Your Life by Lloyd, which Lloyd is one of my favorite people in the world.
Listen, I'm
I did
glad you
those
mentioned that
records.
because
No.
I
You did
listened
that
to
record?
that song today.
I can
And the
hear it.
Lloyd joint. So like, for instance, well, first, since we're talking about this is why I want to talk about this stuff, right?
Oh,
So we need to talk about RL the songwriter. And when we talk about RL the songwriter, we got to talk about his credits, right?
Oh, thank you,
So
man.
we got 1999, we got Party Tonight by Third Story, right?
Oh yeah.
Third
We
Story.
got Whatever featuring Little Mo. We have rap features, which kind of makes me think he used to be a rapper. So I'm interested as to how he writes on rap features, you know. But
Okay.
anyway, we have Where I Wanna Be featuring Nate Dogg and Corrupt, Gage Shiest. Of course, the songs that made Jaheim the star that he is, Just in
Oh
Case
wow.
and Anything.
I didn't say that,
And
John.
No,
But thank you.
no, we said it.
we
No
said it.
offense to you, brother.
We
We
said it.
said it.
Thank
And
you.
then this guy did work with Luther Vandross. That's not a lie, right? So it's Bring Your Heart to Mine is the name of the song. You Are the One is the song that he did with Usher.
Yeah.
But when you had mentioned I Can Change Your Life by Lloyd, I put a star next to it and I said vocal masterpiece. Because the reason why I said that is because there was so many layers of harmonies and vocals. It was almost like a playground to just let go and just whatever you want to get out background harmony wise, intricate ideas, sneak harmony layers, you know,
Right.
the
That's the
stuff that people
genius of
wouldn't care
Oak.
about.
Oak produced that as well as orchestra for Genuine. So Oak is
He did
incredible.
both.
He's the producer. He produced both of them. So yeah, we but what I like about, well, I have stories about every record, but the story I have about I Could Change Your Life is that was supposed to be his follow-up single, and the label said no. So he said, well, okay, let's move on to the next album. He was so loyal,
Wow.
Lloyd,
Wow.
that he was like,
Lloyd.
yo, this was supposed to, because he had done like a special performance online, and that was one of the records. So I knew that was in the pipeline to be the follow-up single. And they kept changing it because back then it was about the bigger writer and you wanted to be associated with this writer and things like that.
Yeah.
So they were trying to push for a record that was probably written by and I hate this, when I tell you guys, I hate when people say, what is the word they use? Relevance. I hate that. That's so
Yeah, the whole,
disrespectful to me. But
relevant. Yeah.
the more relevant person at that moment, I hate that
Yeah.
because we never was like, oh, why you listening to the Isley? They not relevant, or why you this whole new idea of
Yeah.
relevance is like offensive. But regardless, orchestra. When you get a chance, to listen to that. It's one of my favorites. I Could Change Your Life is probably my favorite because I
You
think
just
Lloyd is
ran with that. It
Lloyd.
was just like freedom of
Lloyd,
vocal harmony.
Lloyd is but he's like the Ralph Tresvant on steroids to me.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I think he is.
I wish we had a bomb drop on that one. I never
I've
thought
always
of
told him he
Lloyd
needed
that
to do
way.
sensitivity or something. I think he's
Yes.
uber talented.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Now, you did some tracks. Now, well, I'm not, okay, I want to pause this real quick because I still want to go over your credits, but it made me think of a question, right? I look at you as 100%er, you know, singer, songwriter, vocal arranger,
Absolutely.
producer, and I don't know how much you deal with the mixing aspect.
Right.
What is it like when you have a studio session with another 100%er and you guys have to work together and you're making a song for that 100%er's project, but because they're on 100%er, you have to be very, like, I'm assuming like you have to be careful. Do you got to let them lead more? Do you have, like, what's that? Or have you
No,
came across? Because I think of like a Donald Jones 100%,
right.
you know, like certain names.
Oh, because I end up, well, I'll talk about the Donnell Jones thing later, but it's actually more difficult with a newer artist that's not 100%er than it is. When you're 100%er, you're confident and secure with who you are. So you're open to ideas. Okay, well, you got what you gonna have. You have records under your belt. A lot of cats that don't are so worried about publishing and numbers and, oh, I'm gonna say I wrote this, that they're not worried about the creative process as much as the technical, or they're counting the money before it's even a hit.
Yeah.
When you're in with somebody that does it, a lot of times it's easier for them to go, do your thing, take the reins. Like that's what happened
Mm.
with Donnell. Like Donnell had blessed me and said, listen, I got this video shoot in Chicago. I would love to fly you out to come just make a cameo. I'm having you, I'm having Carl, Jacquees. I would
Carl
love for you to
Thomas?
come out. Yeah, Carl was in the original video for Karma Payback, his first
Oh,
original
okay.
version.
Oh, all
And
right.
we went out there, and it was more of a Chicago flavor, steppers type joint. You know, it was really more adult contemporary. And I know that Big Bro Donnell is vibrant. I know that he got swag. I know that he isn't old, as you would say in this industry. I went home that next day, wrote and produced for the first time, did the track, did everything, and sent him a remix. And he was like, well, I want to get this person, this person, this person. So I ended up having to rewrite a part for Jacquees. So it made sense. But I taught myself to produce during COVID
Mm.
because my partner was busy and a lot of cats that I respect, the production would send me tracks from 20 years ago that they had bottom in the
Mm.
barrel because I wasn't that hot writer at the moment.
Irrelevant
Cats
thing.
do that.
Irrelevant. Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, man, if you're gonna send me
Don't do that
this,
disrespectful.
I could have
Come on,
did
man.
I could have did this. So I'm gonna start doing that. So
Yeah.
the one record that I fully produced in my whole career was the remix for Karma for Donnell Jones. And it had me, Dave,
I gotta look that up.
Carl Thomas, and Jacquees.
I gotta look
And I was able to arrange it, and I literally sent them. We never were in the same place together recording. We shot the video together, but I literally put pieces together, named it, sent them the track with it, like literally
You layered it
arranged
everything.
it virtually like that. And they're so secure, these legends. And I put legends differently. I look at you differently when I was broke. If I bought your CD and was riding my bike or riding the bus, playing your music, I have you up here. So all of these cats, besides Jacquees, of course, who's, you know, the new young lion in the game,
Yeah.
and a little bit of Carl, we came out close to the same time.
Yeah.
But with
I
like
think-
Dave and Donnell, I was like, man, I can remember Donnell's first album is still one of my favorites. You know, everybody was listening
Me
to the
too.
Hood joint. It says for my player, but it was everything else, no interruptions and all that.
Thank you.
Stop.
Thank you.
So to be able to be in a room with these cats and emulate them on the demo,
Yeah.
like it was like I got to study. It was like working or reading your favorite book and being able to do a book report in front of the whole class. It was amazing.
Mm. Can I go back to your credits?
I mean, hey.
So as we're going down, there's some credits by so there's a little backstory, right? There was a verses, right? With Bobby Brown, right?
Yeah.
And Mr. Keith Sweat. Now, if you ask me and Mo, Bobby Brown is the king of R&B. We hold Bobby Brown very high.
We do very
you
high.
know,
I didn't
and
realize that Keith wrote a lot of records. I know y'all was, yeah. That's what
You
I would
already
do if
there.
I did a verses. I wouldn't do a verses,
Bro.
but if I did, I would cheat too.
I thought Bobby Brown had it. You know, the collaborations with Babyface, that team, you know, the collaborations with the Teddy Rat, all that stuff. I thought he had it until I heard Keith Sweat's response every time. And I'm like, I had no idea, right? And I think about his story being the Wall Street guy that had the secure job and then would dip off after, play gamble, you know, shoot whatever with the producer, record a track, tell them what he wanted. And so my question is he had a good sense of what he wanted to sound like. He had a good vision of so my thing is, with that personality, how is it working with a Keith Sweat in the studio with his dynamic? He's not the singer, but he's the guy that knows how to make the lasting hit.
Yeah.
You know?
I did On the Floor and one other record, I think, for Big Bro.
You did Sexiest Girl and Teach Me.
Yeah, Sexiest Girl. And I did On the Floor, which Teddy Riley produced, and he used the beginning of the show, which if you listen to that record sonically, I've been trying to recapture that.
But it sounds nothing like Keith Sweat. When he sings on that record, it's like auto-tuned in a certain type of tone where I'm like, is that even Keith Sweat?
Yeah, well, you mean sonically, they like, you got to remember, Teddy is like a genius. Like Sonic, there's nothing that he can't do. Like when I want to buy new equipment or I produce on Studio One now. I learned about Studio One from going to Ted's house, and he's like,
Okay.
"Listen, little bro, what you need and what you need to do." And okay, and you have to. There can be no ego in the room if you want to truly be successful. So when I worked on Keith, the only record that we did do in the studio together was the Teach Me record. As far as the Sexiest Girl and On the Floor, I just sent them in because but I sang them as close to Keith's
Yeah.
There we
tone
go.
and
I wish I could hear
his
that.
register as I
Like, I wish I
could.
could hear you sound like
I
a
probably
Keith
have
Sweat
one of
on the
those.
record.
I'll find them and I'll send them to y'all. I'll email it to y'all when we get up. I'll find a
That'd be
demo.
so dope. Because when
But
you
I
say
say that
that,
to
I
say
didn't
you
realize
have
how
to
much
do that.
acting.
You
Yeah, I
gotta
don't
do
realize
it. You got
like how much acting and actors get into a character and they get lost. I didn't realize how much that translate in music until you started telling me your process. You
Well, I
know?
tell you what music is to me. Music is movies for the blind. So I have to
Mm,
convince you. You should be able to close your eyes. That's why, let's be honest. There are a lot of blowers that don't sell records because they don't act. They don't know how to convince you. Like Mary J. Blige isn't the top tier vocalist. Not saying she can't sing. That's up to everybody's interpretation. But I
yeah.
say that she's so successful because you feel her.
You
Keisha
feel
Cole,
it.
you feel
You
her.
feel it.
You just talked
Believable.
about Keith Sweat, Bobby Brown. They're not gonna riff you to death. They're not gonna take you to church. But what you're gonna do is they tease Keith for begging, but he's begging all the way to the bank.
You
Okay,
ain't
so
lying.
what we have to understand is it's about convincing. I tell every artist I work with, that microphone is a girl or a boy, whatever you like, whatever you're into. Look at that microphone, and that's who you're singing to. You're not singing to the track. You're singing to your audience, and it has to be believable. So even if you're not blowing in vocalist terms, you're convincing. And that is the biggest thing. So if you can convince somebody that's listening to it, there are enough people that's breaking up with somebody, feel like their man is no good, at the strip, whatever it is, if you could convince them that they're there, that's what they get. That's why even gangster rappers, dudes will close their eyes and be in their Ultima, rapping the lyrics, even though they ain't sold a brick in their life, is
Yeah.
believable. And they can become somebody else. They can become that actor because that role or that scene is implanted in their mind because whoever did that record was so convincing.
Mm.
So one question on, so I'm just thinking about it.
Mm.
What was the moment or the song actually that you wrote where you knew was like, I'm here, I'm not going nowhere. This is it. Like, this is the moment.
Yeah. Like I figured it out.
Like
I
this is
finally
all,
figured it out.
this is it.
You know what? It's funny because when I'm in my studio creating, I'm into it. But if I play it for somebody else, I'm looking at their face and I'm scared. That never leaves. That perfectionist never leaves. The one moment I feel like I made it because we've had bad luck. When we came out with Butter Love, we were on tour with Chris Tucker on the Money Talks tour. He did a comedy tour. And we were in our little French Connection slacks and tight shirts. They had us dressing like As Yet, which wasn't our style.
Shout
We
out
just were
to
catching the
As
hood.
Yet.
Yeah, but they had us dressing like that, right? Clyde did. But Butter Love came out
Buddy.
during the UPS strike. And that was before streaming. So our single couldn't get to the record stores. So I was still in New Jersey sleeping at KG from Naughty by Nature's back house on an air mattress.
Nice.
And all New York radio was playing was Bad Boy and Wu-Tang. So I'm like, it's over. Let me get ready to go to college. And I was at the mall in Jersey City, and some girl was walking around, little girl, she had to be like 6 or 7, singing Butter Love. When I heard her, I knew I had made it. God tapped me on that. I don't know how. I ain't had no money at the time, but literally tapped me on the shoulder and it was like, this is it. So I knew then. There's an insecure, I think every artist is insecure, but there's an insecurity that comes with pouring your heart out or previewing your art to the world. You're still looking for reactions. It still hurts you when that one person doesn't like it. I don't care. People can say they don't care what people think. They're lying. I do. You, as an artist, you do. If you didn't, you wouldn't create this. You create this because you went through this and you want to communicate this to let somebody know that's listening that they're not alone. They're going, whether it's good or bad. You know what I'm saying? So that is the key.
You know what's interesting to me as you're talking about this? I always have a moment where I'm like, when I'm listening to somebody, I'm like, uh-oh, he's coming. Watch out. And when I heard that Best Man soundtrack,
Oh, wow.
and you were on there with those heavy hitters.
Yeah. The turtleneck, right? He had the
The
turtleneck.
turtleneck.
Right? Yeah.
The
By the piano.
turtleneck, screaming, chest ripped, he was
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
And I mean, pouring it in. And I'm like, look, I don't know if people know what's happening right now.
But he's trying to kill everyone.
Listen, this is for real. And
He's trying to kill
everybody
everyone.
has to watch out now because he's up next, literally.
Wow. Well, let me tell you the craziest part about it. There were so many other artists that were supposed to be on that record that pulled out when they heard I was on the song.
I knew it.
And
Wait.
now,
They were scared vocally? They were scared vocally?
I can't say that. I maybe they
Nah,
just didn't
yeah,
want to.
maybe that's what-
Maybe maybe they didn't want to test themselves to me. I don't know.
Maybe that's what it was.
But I know for sure that because we were. Oh man. Okay, listen. The biggest highlight of my career is during COVID. Jimmy Jam was doing a interview with Cayman Kelly on Sirius XM, but it was like on IG or something. And I came in and said, "Hey, big bro," but I had always felt a certain way my whole career about Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I'm from Minneapolis. Terry was just the ladies' man. Jimmy was the genius. They're both geniuses, but Terry was cold. He had what's her name? Superwoman.
Pebbles, no,
yes,
Karen White.
yeah,
White,
Karen
no,
White.
no, Karen White.
Karen White.
Yeah, she's still
Karen White.
cold.
But the other
so
one
just-
had Pebbles,
Superwoman.
right?
No,
The other one
Pebbles
had
was
Pebbles.
L.A. Reid.
No, it was L.A.
had
Reid.
Pebbles.
No, he had
Oh,
L.A.
that's
Reid.
right. That's right. Yeah. 'Cause
So
they had that
I was
competition.
always
Karen
like,
White.
the coolest dude on earth is to this day is Terry Lewis, right? So
Yeah.
I always felt a certain way because we auditioned for them. Low Key really
Oh.
discovered us first. I got a thing for you, baby. Lance and Prof T discovered us. Prof T is the one that taught me how to write. So we would sneak out during my senior year in high school to Flight Time. It was in Minnesota. So we sang for Jimmy and Terry, and they signed solo instead of us.
Wow.
And I
Solo.
always had a fuel in me that pushed me because I was so bitter and mad at them for
Shit.
literally 25 years. And
Yeah.
during this interview, Jimmy goes, "Yeah, we had a chance to sign those guys." And he goes, "We had a really messed up label situation and we didn't want to put them in that. We knew they'd get a better situation and we didn't want to involve them." And literally, that had driven me my whole career. So when I was able to go in to do the joint with Tyrese, Genuine, and Case, I remember I was the only artist that wasn't in a group. I mean, that was in a group. Sorry, excuse me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous and I didn't think that I would hold up. We were just getting off a tour. Literally that day, I just got home from tour. I didn't know who was going to be in the studio first because they were supposed to be different artists. And then finally they got what it was supposed to be. And Tina Davis was there, who's an executive. She discovered Chris Brown. She's one
Yeah.
of the heavy hitters. I think she's over 300 now. No, she's at it's not
I
300.
hope not.
She's at another label. She's at a major label. I can't think of it, but she's one of the dopest, most powerful women in the music industry. We're in the studio, and Jimmy starts telling the story how I was coaching everybody and being a cheerleader, and he says, he literally said, this was his words, I was the key to the operation because most times cats get in a room and they try to out-sing each other and try to one-up cats. I didn't. That whole talking in the beginning, that whole at the end, my brother, I made that up because I was trying so hard to show Jimmy and Terry, see, you should have signed me. That little
Yeah.
kid, that little insecure kid was still trying to come out and prove myself. And sometimes you perform well under pressure. Sometimes you need that push. That's that anger we were talking about
Yeah.
when you're going to perform. And I had that. and I was able to channel that for that performance. And then years later, I find out, I'm literally in my studio, I have the lyric sheet with everybody signed, including Big Jim Wright, rest in peace, who produced it with Jimmy and Terry. But that was the moment that I realized I might be a little dope. I could do this because I'm in here with these other artists that I look up to that I watch on TV, and I'm holding my own. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can do this for the rest of my life.
Oh, I knew right away. I was like, it's over. I said, hold on. It's over. I heard it. And when I hear it, and I know what I know, and it never fails.
Thank you, my brother.
Quick question. Like, when it comes to like psychology and therapy, you know, and when we tie trauma into situations as to why people mature or adult the way they do, I hear a lot of references to people not coming in terms with the little child that's been traumatized, that's been abused, that's been unheard. And I lean on that myself as well. Like, you know, grew up in like a abusive kind of home, you know, and so it's like I know what it is to be a kid that's not heard, and you just want to love on people, but everybody just keeps rejecting you, hating on you for whatever reason, and you just want to, but at the same time, you're very serious about your passion too, because you're not going to half-ass that. So my question is I know you say you get angry and stuff, and I tie that to the little child person of me, but do we need to heal from that? Or do we need to stay there to keep the music raw, soulful, and believable? Because it's almost like the same theory of, I liked Mary J. Blige when she was angry, and when she started getting happy, the song sounded a little bit weak, you know? And so my thing is just like, it's not a healthy relationship, but that childhood part of us that's been traumatized, when is it not helpful as we get older when we're making our music, you know?
Two things. Two things. I don't necessarily think a lot of artists' issues are about what they're going through. Well, singers, because I think a lot of times we call singers artists. You can close the door in the studio and I can press record and you can come back and I can have something created. Some of these people, you have entertainers, you have singers, and some people that are writers that tried to become artists and they really should have just been writers. But, you know, people, you know, you want to shine. I get it. What happens is you don't show up at the party with who you came to the last party with. So a lot of times there's a disconnect with and I want to give more writers and producers more credit because go to them. You look at Mariah, she's successful because B Cox and she's gonna go to B Cox and Jermaine. Period. That's what it is. Jonte, this is who's gonna do most of this. It's what it is. A lot of these other cats, well, right now I don't think that Mary can go to Puff, you know. But there were other people in the room, the Stevie J's and cats like that, that she could go to get these records from. And I think that a lot of people don't do that. For me, being an artist, I can still tap into that little boy because I went through it. Even if I'm not going through it now, I'm going to be transparent right now. It's the holidays. My father passed from cancer in March 5th. My mother was diagnosed with cancer 3 months later.
So I'm sorry to hear that.
She's doing pretty well now. I offered to fly my mother, my sister, and my uncle down for Thanksgiving because this was the holiday I would see my father. He made the sweet potato pies, the potato salad, stuff like that. He's not here. Well, I'm the middle child. I'm the child that doesn't need much. I'm the child that didn't get in trouble. So a lot of times, those are the ones that are forgotten about. Squeaky wheel always gets the oil. So when you don't make noise and you don't get in trouble, even as an artist, if I went and got arrested, I'd be relevant. If I went and threw a drink in somebody's face on reality TV, he's back. If I went and did something ignorant, you're back. I can't do that. But you can find ways to tap into that anger. I'm angry because I'm not on the radio and I feel like I should be. I'm angry because I can go, if I want to get angry, I go back and read the comments from when I found out I was on Mount Rushmore, Mo. You know what I'm saying? I could, you can find the negative energy. The thing is, what you have to learn to do, and this is it's an ongoing process, is not staying in that energy. is I'm quick to move on. I'll say stuff like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen to me. But if you can't pivot and you just want to bathe in it and soak in it and stay in it, if you get in the bath and you stay in there too long, you know what happens to your skin. Now, it's good when you get in the hot bath for a little bit. You put your the little scents in there. You get out. You good. You stay in there too long. You know what happens to your skin. So you have to know how to use it. Your superpower is your trauma. Your superpower is being able to go back to that dark place and then get out of there. So that's the hard part. And that's something I still struggle with.